Hey y'all, I am going to make some shea butter. I know it's not garden and none of this stuff is from my garden, but I figure I should share because I've had a lot of people ask me how I make it, and so I'm going to share it. And so what I do, there's a lot of stuff you need. And so in this bowl, there is shea butter, mango butter, and then cocoa butter. But then I also add into it castor oil, jojoba oil, olive oil, as well as vitamin E oil. You can't see that. Vitamin E oil. And usually some kind of scent. And so the scent changes each time, but this time I'm gonna use lavender. And so let me show you how to do this. So what you do, I have, you notice this is double boiler right here. So I put water at the bottom and it's just not starting to boil. And so what I want to do to be able to mix all of this together is to put all of this stuff in here and melt it down. So I'm gonna throw in the mango butter and the shea butter, and then sprinkle around it the cocoa butter. Just a warning, when you make this, you get very oily, so just be prepared for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and make sure everything's in there. And so this is gonna melt down, and then once it's melted, I'll come back and show you what to do next. All right, so I got everything melted down, and then let it cool off for about 15 to 20 minutes. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some olive oil, about half a cup, maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to make a slightly bigger batch than I usually make. Castor oil, jojoba oil, and I always use a decent amount of this, maybe close to a cup. And then we're gonna do the vitamin E oil. Not too much of this, and I don't know how much I have left. It's not an essential ingredient, but it adds some extra benefits of the whipped shea butter. So we'll just get what we can out. And then we're gonna do about 10 to 15 drops of lavender oil. Maybe a little bit more since I'm making the batch a little bit bigger. I'm not counting. And so we're gonna give this a mix. Let me give this a mix. Yes, and I always check to make sure it's fragrant enough for me. I really love the smell of lavender, so tend to be a little heavy duty on the lavender. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to thicken up a bit, and then we'll take it out and whip it. So I'll be back. All right, so it has cooled a little more in the freezer. It's still pretty loose, but as I whip it with a hand mixer, it should solidify. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start to mix it. And periodically I'll stop and kind of scrape the edges just to make sure I get everything mixed in well. So it's still pretty loose. So what I'm gonna do is sit it back in the freezer just a little bit longer. For some reason, every time I make this is a little different. And so this is not the first time that this has happened. It's starting to thicken up, but it'll take me a while in mixing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick it back in there for a little bit longer, so then it'll thicken up faster. But it's already looking closer to the color than it usually is. So, all right, so I'm gonna stick this back in the freezer probably for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll come back. All right, so I got it out of the freezer. I waited a little bit too long, so it's a little solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a mix. I already scraped the ends because it was sticking to the bowl, and so I'm gonna go ahead and give it its last little mix. There it goes. So that is the shea butter right there. So what I'm gonna do now is I have a bunch of these little containers. I usually store them in these. And so I just load them up, fill them all up with it, and I store it. This usually lasts me, I made the batch a little bit bigger. And so it usually lasts me maybe about four months with the usual size. So I'm hoping that this will last me 6 months. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill all these up, and that's it. All right, got all of them jarred up. And so usually I store them somewhere where it's room temperature. And so I don't store it, especially in the summer, I don't store it somewhere where it can melt, because it definitely will melt. I try to store it somewhere where it'll stay around 70 some odd degrees. And so yeah, so that's how you make whipped shea butter. smells really good. This is how it looks in the jar. And so I put this on every day. This is my lotion. I do not use regular lotion. I use this. So hope you try it. Hope you enjoy it. Oh yeah, forgot to mention. The batch that I made 5 jars this size. So good amount, lasts a long time. It takes me maybe about 6 weeks or more to go through one bottle, so, or jar. And so, yeah, so this will last me for a very, very long time.